Friday afternoon, about 5:30, they called me and said, "Can you leave tomorrow morning to go to Nashville for the floods?" I said yes. So at 6:30 the next morning, on Saturday morning, another volunteer and I got in our ERV, the emergency response vehicle, that big red truck that we have, and we started driving down to Nashville. When we got down to Nashville, it was only 2 days after the floods had started receding. You could see a few places along the way where the rivers were up still. Our first assignment was a neighborhood in the bend of the Tennessee River out on the northeast side of Nashville. We went down, we loaded up 250 meals that the Southern Baptists had provided, and we drove across Nashville. Now Nashville's a pretty hilly city. We didn't see a lot of damage except down around the mall. You could definitely see it had been seriously flooded. In fact, we didn't see a whole lot of real damage until we started driving down a small 2-lane road off the main highway. We crossed off a little bluff, and there in front of us were about 300 nice 10 to 15-year-old middle-class houses, every one of which had at least 2 feet, in some cases 6 feet of water in it. That neighborhood swimming pool was filled with muddy sewage. There was a water line on every house. There were cars parked in driveways that were covered in mud. The most devastating thing that you could see in there, though, were the piles in front of absolutely every house. That neighborhood had less than 2 hours warning that they were going to have a flood. What was sitting in a soggy, stinking mess in front of everybody's house was what they couldn't carry out of their house in one trip in the middle of the night. Then they had to come back and face the mess that was there. They had to face furniture, clothes, pictures, keepsakes, absolutely everything ruined. Can you imagine? And probably most of us can't really do it. Having everything except what you carried out that one trip soaked in sewage-filled water. To come back later on and to pull out your wedding album, all the pictures of your kids growing up, to come back and gut out your house so you could stand in the front yard and look clear through the house and see the backyard. Nothing left at all. Well, we looked at that and we drove down to that neighborhood. And we were soon surrounded by muddy, dirty, wet, tired, honestly, stinking people that were in the process of ripping out their entire lives, throwing them out in the front yard. We drove up and down the streets. We used a loudspeaker to announce to them that we were the Red Cross. We had cold water and a free hot meal. We started soon seeing groups of people forming up there. We drive up to each group, and we gave a free hot meal to these people. It was barbecued pork, green beans, and peaches. I'll never forget it. And the amazing thing about it, though, we weren't being real heroes. What were we doing? We were sitting in a nice air-conditioned, clean, dry, safe truck, and we were feeding people a pretty basic meal. And they were coming up to us with tears in their eyes and saying, "Thank you. I appreciate you being here." We weren't really doing a whole bunch in an ultimate sense, just providing a good hot meal to people. But at that moment, we were providing a small amount of help and hope to people who were in desperate need of it. That's what the Red Cross does. It provides a bit of help and hope to those in the most desperate of times. In closing, I'd like to show you a t-shirt I got from our Red Cross chapter at the Pennsylvania floods. I think I specialize in floods. Get the right side up right here. Heavy downpours, followed by floods of kindness and steadily rising spirits. Some of those floods of kindness are provided by the Red Cross, and they do contribute greatly to rising spirits. I would ask you to please join me in helping provide floods of kindness by donating your time and money to the Red Cross. Thank you very much.